Hey, it's Nathan here, and I need to share a very sad story with you all. You see, when I was a child, I had a rough childhood. My father lived a double life, and it was hard for me to understand this when my mother kicked him out of the house. You see, my father wasn't the best at keeping his hands to himself, and my mother had no choice but to leave him. I'm sure at this point you're assuming, and yes, he was a serial killer. It's a shame, really. He was really great at photography and talking to people and really understanding people at their truest versions of themselves. And I'm sure if he really... Okay, I lied. That wasn't my father. But it was the father of William McNary. Welcome to Murderabilia, a novel by author Carl Vonderau and about a banker who's trying to escape the life of being related to the notorious praying hands killer, Harvey. How does he escape this life? Him, his sister Polly, and his semi-crazy religious mother all leave their home in the Midwest and travel to California to start anew after the dad goes to prison forever. Except we have a small problem. William gets a call from an unknown number, and a random man says that he's William's lost brother, saying that if he doesn't meet him in a park at night by himself, he's going to spill the beans that he's related to the killer. William goes to the park and sees nothing, thinking that
This is a load of barnacle.
Until he goes back home to find his garage door open and an open beer can sitting on his counter. After contemplating, he feels like it's best to go to the police to talk about this, and he meets Detective Lund and Blake. The two tell him everything is going to be okay.
Because right now you're not acting right to me at all. All right? And if you think about running and all that, I promise you're not going to make it. All right? I'm a lot faster than you think.
Until they arrested him, claiming that they found a dead body in the park that he visited late at night with his fingerprints and DNA all over the crime scene. Do prisons have banks? Polly gives him access to a great defense lawyer to work with him on getting out of jail. And judging by the looks of it, she better work fast because some inmates got word that William killed a school teacher, and now he suffers from isolation and the occasional feces being thrown at his cell door.
If you have any poo, fling it now.
This trauma leads to William sharing his experience in Algeria as a war journalist photographer. He visited during a civil war that was occurring in the country, capturing pictures of victims that were killed in a massacre to share the story of what's happening in the nation. This is important because William chooses this profession to prove that unlike his father that captures death with his camera for self-satisfaction, he captures death to share news on the violent acts that are occurring in the world. After this, he goes to Colombia where he meets his wife and they decide to start a family together. Waking up from his nostalgia trip, William gets a theory for how he can prove his innocence. You see, he thinks that his DNA was planted on the body by the real killer, and if his guess is right, his daughter's DNA should also be on the crime scene because of the stuff that was missing in the garage. That, and there's also an ominous looking envelope on the lawyer's desk. And it's photos of the school teacher chopped up in a similar fashion to how his father once killed one of his victims in the past. This is going to be such an awkward family reunion. While William is settling back at home, he keeps getting encounters of the killer being around his house, being seen by his family, and this disturbs him. The solution? Yeah! Carry some guns!
She says, "Don't shoot me, I'm pregnant with a baby." And I shot her anyway.
But then something happens. William gets a picture of his daughter in the mail by the killer, and this draws the last straw. He tries to connect his father to this person who's trying to replicate the work of the praying hands, and he remembers something about his dad's past. He had a sister that people think he killed, but the story never really settled with him. He does some research and oh snap, she's alive, under a fake name in Chicago. One problem, he's on bail. Who cares? He gets on a plane and visits her and bam, Lord drop. It turns out that Harvey had a terrible life before he became a killer. He was constantly abused by his mother, having to even witness his baby brother get killed as an effort to discipline him. Desperate to get away, the sister just ran away from home and never turned back. Now that William has this information, it's time to finally meet the man himself. He goes to Harvey's prison and they finally meet. Harvey begins by asking how he's doing and says that he's missed him. Disgusted, William talks about the case with his dad, where he scolds him and tells him that he needs to pay attention to the signs the killer's giving. Referring to a letter that the killer sent to news outlets, Harvey hints that the killer may be from the Midwest, where he's from, but if William wants more information, he wants a lock of his wife's hair. William goes home and notices furniture being moved around, and reading a letter inside, he learns how much the killer knows about him when he references his trip to Algeria and his family. Before he gets crazy talking to the walls, Detective London Blake returned with some news. This new killer apparently has been murdering for the last 19 years, moving from the Midwest to California, and they also believe that this killer is definitely connected to William's father. Another thing is that Harvey has pancreatic cancer and he's not going to live long. So here's the deal. William talks to his dad again and gets the information they need, and in turn, William gets out of his bail condition. William agrees and he decides to see if Harvey's sister would want to help with this quest to help his family. She says no. Still being optimistic, William goes back to his dad for round 2. This time, Dad questions the differences between what he did as a killer and what William did as a war journalist. William struggles with his response, and in his failure to give a satisfying one, Harvey pities him and gives more details of the killer. Apparently, the killer is a loner and probably hates women due to the nature of his mother. William demands more, but Harvey stops once his younger brother gets mentioned. William goes home again and, oh my god, he sees the head of his boss at the bank attached to a doll in his bedroom wearing his wife's necklace. At this point, I'm sure the dude has a key because how the heck is he entering so much? When this death goes viral on the news, Harvey's sister calls back saying that she's willing to talk to Harvey to assure that no one else gets murdered. The confrontation doesn't go well, but William learns that the killer is actually the child of one of Harvey's victims back in the day. When William looks at his father's old photographs, he notices that one of them has a young boy with sunken eyes. Add this with an old interview where Harvey talks about killing a mother who sold out her child for drugs, and we get the story of Ronnie White. It's also at this time the killer breaks into Polly's house and kills Magnolia. Damn, everyone's catching a stray. Polly and William confront their father with the news, and this freaks him out, leading to the theory that Harvey might actually be closer to the killer than we thought. Feeling like the killer is getting closer to attacking his family, William and the detectives hatch a plan to try to get the killer at a memorial for William's boss, Vanessa. It doesn't work out, but this gives William the thought of whether the person is affiliated with the bank. Oh look, Dr. Massey here has similar handwriting to the killer's. And his offline bank accounts look sketchy. And when we visited his place, he has a degree from Chicago. Oh, yeah. No, we got him. Oh, but during this revelation, William's family is taken, so the detectives go off to find them. William goes home again and, oh snap, he's in the closet! No! William wakes up to find his family gagged and the sad truth that his father used Massey to scare William into reconnecting with him. Aww, except Massey goes, no, you killed my family, so I'm gonna kill yours. Ha ha ha. William kills the guy in front of the family and later gets business as a banker because of his notoriety around being connected to both praying hands killers. It's also at the end that William confesses to rearranging the bodies he took pictures of in Algeria, just like his father did with his victims. Okay, what kind of secret is that? Because what? This leads us to the end of the story, but the last line does a great job at questioning morality, asking us if it's okay to commit acts of violence if it's with a good intention. William learns more about his father through the events of the novel and is tasked with differentiating his actions to his father's. What we get at the end is a chilling confession from our protagonist and insight on just how traumatizing it can be for family members of those who commit extreme acts of violence. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all on the next BookBase video.